Okay, you're going to raise the prices, but the quality has been going down.
That was certainly one of the biggest, most visible things. Was a lot of people had been accustomed to certain things at Disney parks, and then you raise the price and then reduce the service.
Black mold. On a children's ride. Inside Magic Kingdom. Not a back hallway. Not a maintenance corridor. The actual gondola. The one parents put their toddlers on first. The one that's been running since 1971. Bob Iger, Chief Executive Officer of the Walt Disney Company, runs the most recognized theme park brand on Earth. Under Iger's watch, that brand just got caught with documented mold growth on one of its most iconic children's attractions. Here's the part Iger doesn't want you calculating. Magic Kingdom tickets now reach $209 per person on peak days. That is not a resort fee. That is the entry price, per head. A family of 4 paid over $800 just to walk through that gate. Some of them rode that ride. Disney confirmed the mold was removed. Oh, Disney did not say how long it had been there. No timeline, no explanation, no acknowledgement that guests were ever exposed. That silence is the story. The first documented video of mold on this specific ride goes back to 2022. That is not recent. That is years ago. That footage circulated, that story ran. Disney cleaned it, and nobody made a statement. Let me say that again. The mold was documented in 2022. Disney cleaned it quietly. Then it came back. Then a new video went viral. Then Disney cleaned it again. And still, zero public statement. In 2023, independent Disney media reported that the walls of this attraction had reached a level of visible deterioration never seen in its over 50-year history. Their words, not ours. The ride had been, in their direct description, be in rough shape for a while. Here's what that actually does. It means the decline was not invisible. It was visible to every maintenance crew, to every inspector, to every cast member who walked through that building every single day for years. In plain terms, multiple sources, multiple years, zero corporate response until a camera went viral. Now watch what happens to the numbers. The last major, nearly year-long refurbishment of this ride was in 2024 to 2025, 2 decades ago. The ride runs on a water-based boat system inside an enclosed, humid building for up to 16 operating hours a day. What that means for you, mold in that environment is not a mystery. It is not bad luck. Preventing it requires consistent, funded maintenance. That costs money, and that money is a choice, and that's not the end of it. However, mold was also documented in Toy Story Land at Disney's Hollywood Studios, a separate park, a separate area entirely. This is not one bad gondola on one bad day. It is a pattern across multiple attractions at multiple parks. What Iger's team calls routine maintenance investment apparently did not reach either of these locations before a guest with a phone caught it first. Ticket prices during those same years tell their own story. Magic Kingdom tickets in 2024 ranged from $124 to $189 per day. In 2025, that range climbed to $139 to $199. In 2026, the peak hit $209 per person. Here's the part they don't advertise. Prices went up every single year. The overhaul schedule did not move with them. What Iger calls shareholder value creation actually means charge more, spend less on the product that justifies the price. Here's the part nobody's talking about. Disney's variable pricing system makes it nearly impossible for a regular family to track year-over-year increases. The dates shift. The tiers change. The sticker shock gets buried in a calendar of color-coded pricing tiers. The obfuscation is not accidental. Now let's talk about who actually pays for this. Imagine you're a parent from Ohio. You saved for 2 years to bring your kids to Magic Kingdom. You paid $179 per ticket. 4 tickets. You rode this attraction with your 7-year-old. You did not know about the mold report from 3 years earlier. Disney never told you. Nobody warned you. You found out later, scrolling through your phone. Picture this scenario. You're a grandparent taking 3 grandkids for the very first time. You paid over $700 at the gate. Your youngest has mild asthma. You spent 10 minutes on a water boat ride inside a humid, enclosed building with documented mold history. No health advisory was ever issued. Not once. Imagine you're a Disney annual pass holder. You rode this attraction dozens of times across 2022 and 2023, the years the mold was first documented and circulated publicly. Disney issued no guest notification, no communication, nothing. And that's just 3 families. Now watch the contrast. While those families rode through that building, Bob Iger's total compensation package for fiscal 2024 was $41.1 million. That is a 30% increase from the year before. That is 746 times what the median Disney employee earns in a year. The median Disney employee takes home $55,111 annually. Iger collected over $523,000 in personal air travel alone, $1.44 million in personal security costs. The gondola got mold. In plain terms, the executive compensation went up 30%, while the ride had gone 20 years without a major overhaul. Those 2 facts exist in the same company, under the same leadership. At the same time, here's the real cost when you add it all up. It is not just the ticket price. The Lightning Lane Multipass now costs up to $45 per person per day. Add parking, add food. A family of 4 can easily spend $2,000 for a single day at Walt Disney World. And some portion of that day was spent on a ride with a documented mold history that Disney never disclosed to the public. What Iger's communications team calls addressing guest concerns promptly actually means fix it after a camera catches it and say nothing on the record. Let me repeat that. Disney has issued 0 public statements on this mold incident. 0. No timeline of exposure, no explanation, no acknowledgement that guests sat inside that building while the mold was present. The company's standard response to situations like this is clean it, stay quiet, and let the news cycle move on. That is not a guess. It is the observable pattern across this incident and the one before it in 2022. Here's one thing worth saying clearly. Disney does conduct routine maintenance on its attractions. Some level of degradation in a decades-old water-based ride is not automatically proof of intentional neglect. What matters here is the documented pattern. Multiple years, multiple parks, 0 proactive communication, and 20 years without a deep overhaul on a high-traffic children's attraction. The nuance does not erase the pattern. It just explains why the pattern is so easy to hide. What to watch next is straightforward. Watch whether Disney announces a refurbishment for this ride, and whether that announcement comes with any acknowledgement of the mold reports or any statement to past guests. Watch whether any Florida health authority receives a formal guest complaint, which would create a public record Disney cannot ignore. Watch the next earnings call. Iger will discuss park revenue per guest, attendance figures, and theme park operating margins. The mold will not come up. The revenue per guest number has been climbing every single year. The maintenance record has been moving in the opposite direction. Those 2 trend lines are not unrelated. They are the same decision, expressed in 2 different columns on the same spreadsheet. Iger's contract expires at the end of 2026. A new chief executive will inherit whatever condition these parks are in at that moment. The receipts will still exist. The documented timeline will still exist. The silence will still be on the record. The numbers don't need Iger to comment. They already have.